This is the first real weekend where college football felt real. You had the SEC back, along with the Big 12 and the ACC. Now that the rest of the conferences have announced they're coming back, so the Pac-12 is coming back, in case you missed it, all 10 Division I conferences are playing football at some point this fall. The Big 10 will return just under a month, the Pac-12 a little bit later than that. And we will have, honestly, as close to a normal college football season as you possibly could have given the circumstance that we're facing here in 2020. But this was the first, like I was saying, the first true college football weekend when you watch the teams, put the TV on, flip around. You had an abundant amount of games. You had chaos. It's always a major part of a college football Saturday. Just chaos, anarchy, losses, close games, upset alerts. It's a sport basically defined on its uncertainty. Because week in and week out, you never know which team's going to pull the upset, which game is going to be close, which player is going to play really well. And again, when you're dealing with 18 and 22-year-old kids, anything can happen. Teams could play above their expectations. Teams could play below them. And it's why there's just always so much chaos and always so much unknown, I should say, in the sport. So we're going to try to do something here in this segment that is almost impossible to do in college football. We're going to try to pick out a few certainties after the first real weekend of college football and tell you at least why I think what we saw on Saturday is a reason to take it forward. To either not be concerned or take some teams seriously. But I think there are a few certainties coming out of the first weekend, and we can honestly discuss. And I think we'll play out here as the year goes on, despite this being obviously the most backwards, bizarre year we will ever see. We'll start with the team that's a loss. Oklahoma, top team, number 3 in the nation, rolled in their first game, now playing their first Big 12 team, being in the state. They lost to them last year on the road. They get them at home this year. You think, okay, revenge, no way to lose to K-State 2 years in a row. K-State just lost at home to Arkansas State to open the year. They got this, no problem. Except it's college football. Nothing goes according to plan. They lose 38-35. For a second straight year, the Wildcats pull the upset over the Sooners. And Spencer Rattler played really well. I mean, he threw for 387 yards, 4 touchdowns. He had some costly interceptions, threw 3 of them. And now Oklahoma drops to 1-1. And now in a year where you're not playing 12 games, when you're only playing outside of the one non-conference game they already played, you're only playing conference opponents. So in theory, your schedule is harder than normal. A lot of people wrote off Oklahoma. Wrote off even the Big 12. Can't trust the Big 12 when it comes to college football playoff. Oklahoma is the only team that you can honestly point to with confidence. Well, they have fallen flat in the playoff the last few years. But now that they lost, it's over. I'm telling you, right now, on September 28th, 2 games in, Oklahoma isn't dead. Oklahoma is far from dead. There should be not much panic when it comes to making the college football playoff. And they will absolutely be in the discussion, if not make the playoff, when it comes around selection time around December 20th. Here's why. Number 1. This is par for the course for Oklahoma. They did something on Saturday that they always do every single year. It's not shocking. They always lose one game. Last year, it was the same Kansas State team. 2 years before that, they lost in the Red River rivalry, Texas. 2017 was Iowa State when they lost to I'm pretty sure it was a 3rd-string quarterback in Baker Mayfield's final year at Oklahoma at home. And then back in 2015, they lost to Texas, where Charlie Strong got a big win. And he saved his tenure at Texas for another week or so. But you know what happened in 2019, in 2018, in 2017, they lost to Iowa State, 2015, they lost to Texas. They made the playoff every year. They never went undefeated and made the playoff. They have lost to a team they shouldn't have lost to. All 4 of those games are just less were upsets. They were favored in those games to win, they lost. So now they lose again at home as a favorite. They've done it before. The blueprint's already there. They lose one game every single year. And they come back stronger, they bounce back, and they play well. That's, I think, I have no reason to doubt Lincoln Riley so far. I have no reason to doubt this offense. Because it's not like he's playing with a new quarterback for the first time. This is the 4th straight year Lincoln Riley is a brand new quarterback. I think he's used to turnover. So it's not the fact that, he's a new guy in there. I think he'll be okay. So 1, there shouldn't be panic because this happens every single year. 2, the biggest Achilles heel, the biggest area we always question and point to when it comes to Oklahoma, it's not the offense. It's not their ability to score points. It's their defense. But guess what? Sure, they gave up 38 points, right? That is a lot of points. But they didn't play as bad as the score indicates. They limited Kansas State to 400 total yards. I understand if you're not a big college football fan or you're unaware about the Big 12 and how much they score, that honestly, relatively, is not a lot of yards. 400 total yards of offense for a Big 12 team is honestly not crazy. Not like they had a great day. I mean, Oklahoma outgained Kansas State by 117 yards. Oklahoma had 517 total yards on offense, and they lost the game. They held the Oklahoma defense held the Wildcats to 10 first downs. Wildcats were just 2 of 11 on third down. So the defense is always the question mark because the offense is scoring points and scoring at will. Whether it's Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, Jalen Hurts, they scored. The question always, especially with Kyler Murray and especially when Baker Mayfield was there, was is the defense good enough to just get almost just 1 or 2 stops? That's what it felt like. If you can get 1 or 2 stops, that's enough to win the game. 2018, especially with Kyler Murray, when they lost to Texas 48-45 and they fired their defensive coordinator. That defense was really bad. They were a legitimate liability. But the defense is getting better. Year 2 of Alex Grinch as a defensive coordinator, they're playing better. Not to mention, the offense didn't do them much help. You had Spencer Rattler again throw for 3 interceptions. Special teams, Kansas State blocked a punt. So the defense wasn't put in advantageous situations to begin with. They were put in their own territory. Kansas State had short fields to score, and they did score. So sure, you want to keep Kansas State out of the end zone more than they did. 38 points is still a lot of points. But the defense did not play as bad as the score indicates. And you hope, at least with the interceptions from Spencer Rattler, those are correctable mistakes. So don't panic with Oklahoma. They've been here before. Their defense, the biggest liability, played well. Oklahoma, don't panic. They are not dead. They are far from dead. They will run the table in the Big 12. They'll win the Big 12. And they'll be right back in the discussion. And not to mention what we've seen so far through the college football landscape, there's going to be plenty of more upsets. Going undefeated this year seems like it's going to be a chore for any team. So one loss doesn't automatically disqualify you at all. Oklahoma, far, far, far from dead. I will say that with certainty. So my number one certainty, I have 3. Oklahoma, not dead. They will be in the discussion for the college football playoff for the years, and they will win the Big 12. Book it now. Number 2 certainty, Florida is legit. Now, I've listened to this show a few weeks ago. First of all, thank you for listening. Appreciate that you're coming back here. We welcome you here all the time. All the time. But if you listened a few weeks ago, I made my college football selections when the ACC and the Big 12 returned. I took Florida to make the playoff. I'm buying into the Gators. Now, I may have to bump them out to put in a Big 10 team. But back when the Big 10 was not playing, Florida's my 4th team. I'm buying into Kyle Trask. I like Kyle Trask a lot. He is by far the best quarterback in the SEC. We always talk about quarterback play, how important the position is. Georgia had Jamie Newman, a pretty good quarterback, and that's why I still thought Georgia, before he opted out, was going to win the SEC East and really push Alabama to try to get the SEC championship and maybe make a playoff run. He opted out. I tweeted at the time, I'm going to say it again, especially coming off their first game. Jamie Newman's opt-out. While he's not the best player to opt out, Micah Parsons, linebacker at Penn State, Jamar Chase, wide receiver to LSU. Plenty of better players have opted out. We talked about impactful. You talk about outlook when this season, when he is there versus when he's not there. No one in my mind's outlook changed more than Georgia. When Jamie Newman opted out, I had legitimate concerns. This Georgia team was good, and then they could take on Florida. They're more talented. They have better players. But Florida has better continuity, the best quarterback in the SEC. That's going to win you a lot of games. Florida's legit. What they did against Ole Miss, where Kyle Trask threw for 416 yards, six touchdowns against Ole Miss. That is here to stay. You can extrapolate that through the rest of the season. That is not a one-hit wonder. That's not a flash in the pan or just taking advantage of a bad team. The offense is humming. I love the way Dan Mullen calls the game. He's a great offensive play caller. They are the team to beat in the East. Florida is legitimate, folks. Florida is legitimate. I'm telling you, if you're not on the bandwagon now, get on. It's not too late. Florida's going to beat Georgia. They're going to get to the SEC title game, and they're going to push Alabama. I'm telling you right now. This team is legit. Kyle Trask is really good. For whatever reason, he is not getting the respect that he deserves. But with Tua leaving from Alabama, from Joe Burrow leaving for LSU, Florida is one of the most familiarized teams in terms of returning talent. They have the best quarterback in the country. Oh, I'm sorry, in the conference. Best quarterback in the conference. A great offensive-minded head coach. And not to mention, a coach who in-game is really good. Look at Georgia, Kirby Smart. You're not saying Kirby Smart is a great in-game coach. That's why Florida is the team to be in the East, and they will push Alabama in the SEC. Mark it down. Florida is legit. I'm saying that with certainty. So certainty-wise, I have 2 of the 3 so far. Oklahoma's not dead. They'll be in the College Football Playoff conversation. Florida is legit. Winning the SEC East, and they're going to push Alabama and still make a run for the College Football Playoff. Book it. Number 3, LSU. Whew. Wow. You heard it here on Hickey's Pickies on Thursday. Now, I didn't have the stones to call Mississippi State outright winning. But in my upset special, Mississippi State getting 16.5 points, and Mike Leach bringing that air raid offense, an offense the SEC has not seen, a brand new offensive philosophy the SEC has never seen before. With every player with talent opting out for LSU that could go to the draft or could opt out to get ready for the draft. Not to mention your best player on the team this year, Derek Stingley Jr., corner, gets sick, goes to the hospital, doesn't play. LSU showed some things in Saturday's game against Mississippi State that I think are here to stay. They had just 3 starters that started on Saturday that played on the national title game. 3. And while the defense will get better, again, Derek Stingley will really transform the secondary once he returns, hopefully this weekend. Hopefully he's better. But you look at offensively, you lose, obviously, Joe Burrow, arguably the greatest college quarterback in a single season in history. You lose the offensive mind that helps unlock Joe Burrow and Joe Brady. Top 2 wide receivers, gone. Justin Jefferson going to the draft, Jamar Chase opting out. Your tight end, Thaddeus Moss, goes to the draft. Your running back, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, is a first-round draft pick. Miles Brennan struggled in his first game as a starter trying to replace Joe Burrow. LSU's going to be bad. Now, not 3-9 bad, or I guess 3-7 bad. But this is not just one of those games that just show up and, oh, man, just a bad day. LSU is going to be bad. And they get no breaks, no cupcakes. They have to play Florida. They will play Alabama. They are playing Auburn, who I'm higher on Auburn than some. They play in a tough SEC West. And it's going to be a gauntlet and a grind. Now you got to play you got to play Florida, and you take away some FCS games. You take away some of those cupcake games that get you 3 or 4 wins a year. It's going to be night and day from 2020 LSU to 2019 LSU. And this is a secondary that allowed 623 passing yards to KJ Costello. Now, I understand that's a byproduct of the system because Mike Leach is going to throw the ball 60 times a game. And again, that will get better once Derek Stingley Jr. returns. LSU is not going to be good. They are not going to be in the SEC conversation. They're really not going to be anywhat of a threat this year. So LSU is going to be bad, is a certainty. Florida is legit. Winning the SEC East, pushing Alabama, and making a legitimate run for the playoff. And Oklahoma, not dead yet. Those are my 3 certainties I feel very and extremely confident going forward, taking out of this first weekend, the real first weekend of college football. So obviously we'll still have 2 months to see how this all pans out. And I just started in the open as a disclaimer. College football is the most unpredictable, uncertain sport we have in our country. It really is, right? You really have no clue what's going to happen with this team. 1 week, one team looks unbeatable. The guys don't take it seriously, and they lose. You get upset. Upset happens all the time. 18 and 20-year-old, 2-year-old kids, crazy, crazy things happen. We saw Brock Purdy going down for a sack, just throw the ball up for an awful interception. You see plays that you would never, ever, ever see. Just because these kids just don't know, they don't think sometimes. We've all been 18 and 22. We've all been there. But I do feel confident in 3 certainties in a sport that's based on unpredictability, on a sport that's so hard to handicap and actually get right. LSU is going to be bad. Florida is legit. And Oklahoma is not dead yet.